We have an unbelievable amount of gold sitting in these here buckets. I want to show you guys how you can easily recover gold out of black sands. It can be a really difficult task to recover gold when it's super fine, but I've got an easy trick for that. RP4 shaker table. This shaker table is an absolute dream. Basically, what this shaker table is doing is it's shaking back and forth. It's got these here spring plates, and those are gonna allow it to jiggle back and forth. Any gold that enters from the feeder up top here is going to slide on in, and it's gonna catch in one of these grooves. Once it catches in a groove, it's gonna ride that groove all the way up. While that's happening, this spray bar is washing everything else off the table. Any light material is gonna wash right on down and drop into this chute and run off into our tailings. But all of our heavy materials that are up top catching in a groove are gonna run in one of these grooves, and depending on how heavy they are, they're gonna drop in either our number 3, number 2, or number 1 slots. This RP4 has some issues. We've tried to work out a lot of the bugs, but we haven't been able to dial it in to where the gold is dropping into chute number 1. Whenever we do get it to drop gold into this chute, we're also finding that the tailings aren't going into the tailing chute. We're seeing a lot more of those running into number 3. I don't want to keep any of these tailings. Tailings says no gold, right? So I want those tailings to run off the table and into our bucket here that we can dump later. Enough talking. Let's show you guys how this gold can perform this magical act of traveling uphill on the table. Gold is super heavy, but it's going to show you that it can climb right up the table and drop into one of these here buckets. We've got a little bit of an oil slick on the water right now from something that was in the tub. So we're gonna give it just a minute to where our dish soap that's up top on the table right now can settle in and really just break that water tension. Starting to see a couple bubbles, but that surface tension is still not looking too great down here. So we're gonna put a little more dish soap right by the pump. Just like that, the surface tension will no longer allow the gold to float. Yes, I said float. When you have fine gold, the gold can literally float away. If that gold was to dry out at any point on this table, or if it came in dry and it's super fine, that gold can ride the surface tension just like a bug does on a lake. We've got water on most of the table there. We're gonna work on getting a little more to that. And now we've got water running into all of our chutes. Just stumbled upon this here hopper in a deal that I made, and it happened to come with it. So we're trying this out to see if we like it, and I think it should help us out quite a bit, because when I get this hopper going, I can feed any amount of material into here, and it should uniformly distribute that material into the table. Beforehand, we were having the issue of feeding the material in here. The idea is that if I feed the material in here, I can just fill this guy full, and all of our water from the spray bar will just do all the work for me. Looking good so far. Woohoo! Look what we have here. There's gold already. So we can see right now, with the way that the blonde sands are dropping into chute number 3, that is not what we're looking for. We want those to all fall off the table. So I'm gonna make it a little bit steeper so they all run down. Just like that, they're starting to drop off into our tailings chute. I'm gonna do that just a little bit more. There we go. These are some amazing concentrates. Holy smokes. Something tells me we're gonna be in for a really nice cleanup. No way! Look at that! Big old chunk of gold. Woohoo! While this may look a bit different than the average gold prospecting setup, let me show you guys some similarities. Well, everything here is classified down to an 1/8 inch. What that means? Well, I use something like this. You may have seen this in your local Big Five or other sporting goods store, or even if you've got a professional panning store in your town. This is a 1/4 inch classifier. What that does is brings everything down to a 1/4 inch in size or less. Then I'll follow that up with one half the size of that. I'm gonna bring this down to an 1/8 inch because the table can only take about an 1/8 inch at absolute most. It has a built-in screen on here measuring out at 16 mesh. Once you get to those smaller numbers, they start to call them mesh. And when you say 16 mesh, all that means is 1/16 of an inch, whereas this is 1/4 of an inch. Then, once we got everything classified, we put it in the buckets, and we're gonna run it through our feeder, our table, and it's gonna fall into these buckets. What do we do with the buckets? Well, at the end of the day, we're gonna rerun number 3, just to try to reduce our total concentrates. And we're gonna pan through number 2 and number 1. But, how do we do that? We're gonna bring it back to old school, just like 1849, and we're gonna use a gold pan. Now, these gold pans do look a bit fancier than what you would see back then. They do have riffles built into the side. These are pretty much barbs like you see on a fishing hook, meant to catch the gold and make sure it doesn't float out of the pan. Other than that, and the fact that the pan is a cheap plastic, not a rusty metal, well, it's pretty much the same as what they used to do. So let's run through a little bit more and see what we find. Woo! That'll make you giddy right there. Let's see if I got it. Woo. Nice piece of gold. Look at that. Just like that, dropped right into number 2. So this may look like a lot of equipment to set up, and yes, it is. But what I'm doing here really makes things so much easier. If I was to have to pan through all of these concentrates one pan at a time, that would take me hours. But I sped this up and made this the easiest it could be by using the RP4 shaker table. Now, I will say, this is not my favorite shaker table that I've seen, but they are an entry-level shaker table, and they fit in most garages. Some of our bigger shaker tables are upwards of 10 to 12 feet long, and that's not something that the average person has room for. So for now, we're gonna make use of this, keep finding gold, and continue to show you guys the easiest way to find gold. So you'll notice gold isn't the only thing going into these here slots. In number 2, which is where most of our gold is falling into, we're also seeing a lot of gray things. That gray is most likely lead. Lead has a really similar density to gold. So when it's shaking across the table here, it's gonna catch a similar groove and ride its way right on into a similar bin. So we'll see a whole lot of lead when we're panning these out later. I went ahead and just put number 1 and 2 into one bin, and number 3 was filling up real quick, so I put that one over there. At the end, we're gonna rerun the real number 3 and our previous number 3. we classified down to 1/8 inch, and that's what we're feeding up top here. And our screen in the shaker table is 1/16. The idea is that anything larger is going to drop onto this screen and run into the gutter here. This gutter is mainly to shoot our tailings off the table, but it also has these little catch troughs. So any gold nuggets should be caught in these guys. Hopefully those are loaded. Look at more gold going in right now. All right, that is the last of bucket number 3. We just re-ran through that one, and soon here, all we have to do is pan out this guy and this guy. No way. Right in the top of the hopper. All kinds of gold already. Let's see what we can see in these catches. Lots and lots of gray. I see some gold. So that gray is either going to be mercury and or lead.
I wonder if this could be.
Whoa, that's deadly looking.
I guess it's probably stainless wire, but it's got to be clean.
Well, let's take a look and see. This is everything from those pockets in the tailing chute. So it should be all of our really big gold that couldn't fit through the screen. Tons of lead. I think I see some gold. Not too shabby. Lots of lead, but thankfully the magnet worked for getting out some of the iron. Wonder how many shotgun shells it takes for that much lead. There's some gold. Tons of lead.
It's got some mercury on that back to liquid mercury. It drips off the copper back to the bottom of the jar.
Poured in cup number 3. Ignore the numbers, that may say 1, but it's cup number 3. Poured those into here. Now we've got another special trick for you. Wild doodah. This guy is an attachment for my drill, but what it does is it has these magnets in there. These magnets spin around, so when I hold the plastic still, spin the drill, it spins around the magnets in there. So if I stuff this in the pan, it attracts all the magnetic sands. The gold gets shaken out of those magnetic sands when this is spinning round and round and leaves me with just the magnetic black sand. So with that, I can toss that off to the side, keep going, and we're reducing our load for panning even more. So you may have realized that everything we're doing is just to reduce the amount of material that we have to pan. From the classifying at the very beginning, taking it down from full-size material to 1/4 inch to 1/8 inch, then 1/16 at the start of the shaker table, and the shaker table processing 2 whole buckets down into 2 pans. Now I'm taking those 2 pans down to even less material with this magnet. Everything we do is just to minimize how much gold panning we're doing. Now we'll steel number 2. And now, repeat the process yet again. Well, I think that's a pretty good cleanup. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time.